We have a lot of TV news this week, from reboots to revivals and so on and so forth. We're going to dissect what Sarah Michelle Gellar said about the reboot Buffy series. We'll also get into why Johnny Knoxville is the perfect chaotic choice to host Joe Rogan's old show. And we have the controversial vision of the new anime from the old Castlevania showrunner. He also did that Power/Ranger short. He's got a new thing going with Duke Nukem. We're going to talk about that. We've got quite a bit going on in TV, so let's get into it. Welcome, nerds, to the Clips channel. What you are about to watch is the TV news that happened this past week since the last time you were here. There is a larger video that this is a part of called The Week in Nerddom. You can go check that out over on the main channel, Generally Nerdy, and you get into all of the topics in that one video, so comic books and music and movies, etc., etc. Or you can just keep coming back here for these shorter versions, which come out a little bit later, so the stuff over on the main channel is going to be a little more up-to-date, a little more relevant, if you will. But either way, you're getting news, and that's the point, and this is the TV news, not like, I'm Tom Brokaw, and that's the way the cookie crumbles. Not that kind of news. We're talking TV news like TV shows and that kind of stuff. So, without any further ado, let's hit the news.
Subscribe. That is all.
Follow-ups and corrections here in TV shows. We have a big one. We have a really, really big one to kick things off. Buffy the Vampire Slayer, the reboot series, we finally got a little bit of detail, and I say a little bit, we got a good chunk of detail from Sarah Michelle Gellar herself. Not only is Gellar going to be starring in the show once again, obviously, it's named after the character that she plays, but she's an executive producer on the project, which means she has some say in how this is going to play out. And so if anyone's going to know how this is going to play out, it's going to be the producer, right? So one of the producers anyway. She's not the producer. There are a few. But we have details. So pardon me while I read this. The interview comes from an Italian film convention because she's doing promotion for stuff. And so that's where the information comes from. She told fans there that they're trying to honor the series as much as possible. The tone for this new reboot series is going to be a little bit lighter than we got in the last few seasons of the original series. So presumably it was 6 and 7 were the last two seasons, and they got kind of dark. So they're going to lighten things up a little bit. Also, she said that they're trying to do everything they can to not only honor those original storylines and the characters who are returning regularly, because there are a number of characters who will be returning with regularity, not just Sarah Michelle's part, but I don't know that we've found out exactly who else is returning regularly, but they're also going to be making room for new characters. So we're going to be expanding the world of Buffy. And in that same vein, with the whole working the old and the new, she also wants to try and bring back as many of the characters as possible, as long as it makes narrative sense in the show. So it's presumed that she does say anyone possible, but there are some of those characters who, I mean, honestly, we can't bring back, I can't even remember her little sister's name right now because the actress passed, sadly, a few months ago at this point. But like, we also very probably can't bring back her mom, and we very probably can't bring back a couple of people. But Angel's still alive. We still have David Boreanaz. We still have, I'm so sorry I brain fart these names so well. Like, I seriously have seen every episode of Buffy. Cordelia, there we go. I just had to distract myself for a moment. But I've seen every episode of and it's the ADD, man. I just can't, sometimes names just are beyond my grasp. So, yeah, presumably that's going to be the people that we bring back. We're going to very likely see Spike. We're very likely going to see Angel. Very, very likely going to see Cordelia, because those are the big characters, I think. As far as like, Angel got his own freaking spin-off that featured Cordelia, so that would make sense. Spike became the new love interest when that happened, so these are big ones. But again, she's made allusions to the fact that they want to bring everyone possible back. So that's kind of cool. Very likely a bunch of cameos, but we'll see what happens. The other follow-up we have in TV streaming this week is Friday the 13th, the Crystal Lake series that is going to Paramount, Peacock, one of the two, I can't remember, one of the P's, is finally going into active photography. They're going into production. We're going to be seeing this sometime soon. Finally freaking happening. We don't know really much else beyond the fact that it is also being codenamed Mama's Boy is the new is what they're calling it. Like it's on the slates that they start each scene with, and I think that's freaking awesome. Super stoked for that. That's all we have, though, is moving into production. Super excited. Moving on, we have trailers this week for TV shows. First one is season 3 for the Daryl Dixon show, The Walking Dead universe. Daryl and Carol show continues, and now they're in Spain. And I mean, this is legitimately the best Walking Dead show. Like, honestly, at this point, I would say there's a strong argument to be made that this is the best Walking Dead show, including the OG. OG has a lot going for it, and I really, really love like seasons 5 through 8. That's really good stuff. Well, was it 8? 4 through 7. 4 through 7, that's what it was. Seasons 4 through 7 really, really rock. Seasons 1 through 3 are fantastic. Kind of 8 and 9 really kind of drug a little bit. 10 picked it back up, and 11 really sent it home. But the good stuff is, again, 4 through 7. But I would, Daryl Dixon, because probably it has the momentum from that first original series, is the better show. Like, let's have that debate, please, because I love the Walking Dead universe, but the Daryl show, probably because I really like those characters. I don't know. Norman Reedus is also a fantastic actor, and you just kind of love him in everything he does, so whatever. But season 3 dropped a trailer. Go watch it. The release date for this is September 7th now, so we know that for sure as well. On the same note, totally slipped my mind that Walking Dead Dead City season 2 happened, or was it season 3? Whatever. The most recent season just ended a couple of days ago, so I've got a binge to do. Anyway, is that the only, that's not the only trailer, is it? That totally is the only trailer. All right, nerds, we're gonna cut away from the show real quick, and we're gonna do our little sponsor spot. DUBBY, channel partner, they have put out a new flavor, and it is s'mores, and that's what I have in here, is the s'mores flavor. S'mores is unique in that you mix it with milk instead of water like the other powdered drinks that they have, but gotta be honest with you, this is addicting. It's 250 milligrams caffeine total in here, just like all of their other blends. 100 milligrams of that comes from the coffee fruit extract. So you have actually kind of a hybridization of the caffeine in this. We're gonna get a little nerdy about our caffeine intake real quick. So the hybridization comes from, you have the caffeine, I'm gonna have to look at the ingredients. It's anhydrous, that's the word I was looking for. Caffeine anhydrous is the artificial caffeine. It's the stuff that you metabolize really quickly. That is the stuff that you'll burn through really fast. And that usually is what gets you the crash, the quote unquote caffeine crash that you get from lesser brands of caffeine. Well, because you also have 100 milligrams of coffee fruit extract, which is where they get that caffeine from, that is the stuff that you metabolize a little bit slower because it is a natural source of caffeine. So that's what helps the crash, helps you avoid the crash, is what I'm trying to say. That is why this is something that they can say you don't get a jitter from, because you have natural caffeine in here as well. So it kind of, you ride that a little bit better than you would the fake caffeine. You also have the nootropics in here. You also have the good stuff for your brain, the stuff that's getting you aware and conscious so that you can do the nightly grind, so you can stay up and edit your YouTube videos for 12 hours, or you can do the study hall stuff and get ready for the test, assuming you're in school of some sort, or whatever the need is that you have for an energy drink. DUBBY does it, and they do it cheaper. Each portion of this turns out to be right about $1. With your discount, it's a little bit cheaper because you get 10% off if you go to dubby.gg and then use code generally nerdy at checkout in order to buy your DUBBY. I'm halfway through my first s'mores portion, and so normally I film these after I've already filmed the show for the day. We're doing it before because I'm definitely going to finish this before I'm done filming the show because it's legitimately really delicious. Like dangerously tasty. Tastes just like it's more like a chocolate shake with marshmallows than s'mores, but like that's kind of what s'mores is chocolate and marshmallows, right? And it's exactly what this tastes like. So DUBBY s'mores is their new special flavor. They're the only people who do a s'mores flavor. Most of the other flavors they have are kind of variations on something that everybody else does. This is absolutely unique to DUBBY. Super dig it. I'm appreciative that they chose to partner with the channel. I'm super happy for that. Again, is the website. Code Generally Nerdy at checkout gets you 10% off your whole cart when you check out. You can only use one code at a time, so be aware. And they run specials all the time outside of that too. So if you get on the mailing list, you'll catch all the specials. You can always use my code though, Generally Nerdy at checkout, and that will always get you 10% unless you have another code. So go check out DUBBY. I'm gonna finish this soon and we're gonna get back to the show now. So let's move into regular ass news, shall we? This week's regular ass news, we have two pieces rather. One big piece, I think, is Fear Factor is coming back to Fox TV. Broadcast television is rebooting, what is that, reality game show, go figure. But it's interesting because Joe Rogan is a busy man, so he is not going to be hosting this. Who is going to be hosting the new Fear Factor, dubbed Fear Factor The Next Chapter? Johnny Knoxville. Like, why did it take this long for this to happen? Like, that is a perfect host for this. The dude who brought us Jackass is now gonna bring us people eating cow testicles and pig intestines? Like, yeah, okay, let's go. Yeah, it's going to be neutered, like, without a doubt. Fear Factor The Next Chapter is not going to do well for a number of reasons, not the least of which being not anybody really watches terrestrial TV anymore. Pretty much everybody watches streaming TV to some degree. So if they can't find a streaming home for this, it's dead in the water already. But it's also going to be highly neutered when compared to the 90s show, because even the 90s show started getting super neutered by the time it got canceled, which is one of the reasons why it got canceled, because people stopped being interested in the gross out stuff because it was kind of less gross. Anyway, still kind of cool that Johnny Knoxville is going to be hosting it. The other piece of regular ass news we have this week is Duke Nukem. Netflix is doing a Duke Nukem animated series, show ran by none other than the dude who brought us the Castlevania animated series, Ari Shankar. Also the guy who brought us was that weird like superhero movie that was a parody, not really comedy, but still parody of other superhero stuff. And the Power/Rangers short movie with James Vanderbeek playing the second Red Ranger, which was legitimately really freaking cool. That guy is bringing us Duke Nukem. Again, I'm pretty sure it's going to Netflix, though it has not been officially announced for Netflix. Just Ari doing his thing, or Addy Shankar, ADI, not ARI, Addy Shankar. Yeah, this is nuts. I'm really curious because he already has like a kind of a warped like sense of a lot of these IPs, as evidenced by the Power Rangers thing, but like in a really cool way, as evidenced by the Power Rangers thing and the superhero one that I still am blanking on the name. But the Castlevania animated series was very well executed and honored the source material. So did the Power Rangers thing. Honored the source material very, very well while telling its own story. So super, super excited to see what he brings to the Duke Nukem franchise. This has been potentially happening for years and years. Some sort of TV show or live action movie or animated movie, what have you, has been rumored or at some stage in production, early production, because production hell basically is how all of those projects ended up. Just kind of got shelved and nobody ever picked it up again. Addy Shankar's picking it up, so let's see what happens. I'm super excited about that. That is, though, what we have for regular ass news, which means we only have one thing left, and that is your suggestion for the week. With Gen V getting this close, the suggestion this week in TV streaming is The Boys. You have 4 seasons of The Boys to catch up on, and then if you catch up and you want to catch up on the last season of Gen V, do that as well, because also good. But The Boys is one of the best comic book related IPs out there right now in live action. Like, it's just very extremely well executed. I think Gen V even steps it up. But your suggestion is The Boys. Next week we'll probably do Gen V. But your suggestion this week is get your baseline down, know where we're coming from with The Boys series, and then you can graduate into the Gen V series, because I think that's slightly superior. But yeah, The Boys is your suggestion. We've already said so many things about how great this series is. For me to say anything more would be redundant. So that's your suggestion for the week. Go check it out. We'll see you. Let's move on. Words.
Thank you very much, nerds, for tuning in. If you want to level up your nerdy, geeky, pop culture knowledge, then don't forget to subscribe and do all of the things. Go check out the main channel, Generally Nerdy, for the larger portion. Again, you get all of the sections into one convenient video over on Generally Nerdy. The name of the show is The Week in Nerddom. Thank you for checking out this clip. We will see you next time. Before we go, though, always remember that if it's generally nerdy, probably here.